G'day there, guys. Welcome back. Welcome, Kanye. Cool. Good to see ya. Love to see it. It's your main man, Markee, and welcome back to another episode of r/Am I the A-hole? Now, if you love today's bloody good content, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn on the barbie, let's go, and enjoy today's bloody good content. Thank you. Posted by user Keep My Dog. Titled, Am I the A-hole for not wanting to get rid of my dog for my pregnant sister? Throwaway account, obviously. So my 15 male dad died not that long ago. It'll be 6 months next week. My mum moved us out of our house because she said it hurt her too much to be there, and now we're living in this new house for 2 months now, and I hate it. Last month, my 20-year-old sister told us she's pregnant, so now her and my mum are getting ready for a baby in the house. To be honest, I'm not really excited like them, but I thought, whatever. Until yesterday. My sister told me I have to get rid of my dog before the baby comes. I asked her why, and she said because dogs are bad for pregnant women and newborn babies because they carry germs and parasites. I told her that's not true. I always bathe my dog, he has all of his shots, and we take him to the vet regularly. He's also been around lots of babies before, and he's super friendly to them, so he can't be a danger to her baby. My sister got mad, so she got my mum involved. She told my mum I was being a brat, and that I don't care that I'm poisoning her baby. I told my mum I didn't want to get rid of my dog. My dad bought him for me as a puppy on my 9th birthday. There's been lots of changes these months. Losing my dad, us moving, and now getting ready for a new baby. My dog is the last connection to my dad. My mum's not home much and neither is my sister, so I feel like all I have is my dog. I explained to my mum why I don't want to get rid of him. She said she understands he's important to me, but I need to stop thinking about myself and consider my baby niece or nephew. I said I don't even believe my dog is bad for my sister's pregnancy. She never liked him since my dad bought him, and I feel like she's using this to get him out of our house. My mum said she isn't going to force me to get rid of him, and she'll leave it up to me. My sister's been mad at me since, and keeps making comments about how she hopes me taking my sweet time deciding what to do won't damage her baby. They are both expecting me to do the right thing, but I don't know if I want to. Does that make me bad? Am I the a-hole because I want to keep my dog? P.S. My dog avoids my sister because she treats him bad if he's close, so it's not like he'll be all over her. Lol, it's not like this dog is a big bag of cyanide that you're buddy-buddy with, and somehow you're immune to this cyanide, but if it gets anywhere near the sister, she'll instantly evaporate or something. Doesn't sound like this dog is dangerous or poses a threat to her or the baby either. If anything, it'll be the sister doing something to the dog way before it would willingly do anything to her without just cause. The dog is a family member at this point, and it's also the last semblance of connection that OP has to their dad. Getting rid of it is akin to making you abandon your own kid because this sister doesn't like them. Tell her she can move out if she doesn't like it, or just keep the baby with the baby daddy if the dog's too much of a threat to her. Not the a-hole. Now in the comments, Can't Get Right 10 says, Not the a-hole. Need to get rid of your sister. Where's the baby daddy? And OP replies, I don't know. She was dating a security guy for a couple months before they broke up, but she was also going out with some other guy that I never met. Not the a-hole. And your sister is 20. She should have her own living space for this baby. Your dog isn't inconveniencing anyone if you're the one that walks it and bathes it, but the baby will disturb everyone in that house and cry day and night. This is coming from someone with 2 children. I don't think your mum is thinking about how that's going to affect your life and schooling, and I really hope they don't expect you to be a live-in babysitter. Oh, you just know the sister is going to fob the baby off to OP. Neither the mum or sister are home often, so who will look after the baby? And who will be selfish if they don't? Not the a-hole, please do not get rid of the dog, your dad got you. Your sister is being selfish and dramatic. The dog can't harm her child. Make sure you demonstrate that you're a good dog owner, clean up after them, take them for walks, etc. Make sure they're cared for well, entertained, and microchipped in case they suddenly become lost due to your sister. You've gone through significant trauma, heartbreaking loss at a young age. Your dog is your family. Millions of people across the world have dogs and kids. In fact, most dog owners have family. Put simply, it's not an issue. Your sister is being uncaring and manipulative. Don't get rid of the dog based on her lies. Don't let them bully you. The right thing is to honor your dad's memory by giving that dog a great life with the person he bought the dog for. That's you. I hope you're okay. Stay strong, and feel free to DM if you need to vent. And OP replies, I've always done my best to prove myself as a good owner. That was my dad's condition if I wanted to have a dog of my own and learn to be responsible for him. He made sure I was the one doing the walks, cleaning up after him, giving baths, feeding him every day, etc. No one else does it. And yeah, he got out once and my dad got him chipped after that. And thanks, I appreciate that. My mum hasn't talked to me much, so it felt like I haven't been able to say anything to anyone. You can find a lot of data about dogs being actually beneficial to babies, as someone else pointed out. Forward those to your mother and say something along the lines of, Hi mum, this is just so you know you haven't raised me to be selfish. I'm not thinking of only myself, I'm simply pushing back on requests based on inaccurate information. The dog can't harm my baby niece simply by being around her. See articles. Plus, he's been friendly with babies before, and in any case, he won't be left unsupervised with her. Sister's claims that he's hurting the baby are either based in misinformation or malice. And now on to the update. I forgot a lot of people wanted an update on what happened after my post. Sorry it took me so long. I read lots of people's comments to this and I was really happy to know that I wasn't hurting my sister or her baby by having a dog around. Lots of you sent me some good information. I decided to show what some of you commented to my mum and sis as proof that my dog isn't bad since she was so worried. I also told my mum that I'm not going to get rid of my dog because he means too much to me and that would hurt him too. My mum agreed with me more after showing her the info and said my dog doesn't have to go anywhere. My sister seemed more mad after, not just because of the info, but that I told a bunch of strangers our business. She didn't see the post though. My sister still kept pushing to get rid of him because she doesn't want to be around him while she's living there. My mum and her ended up having a big fight over it. There was lots of yelling and arguing for days until finally my sister said she's leaving unless we get rid of him. She said it like a threat, I guess, because she thought that would make my mum make me give him away. My mum didn't want her to leave, but that's what she ended up doing because I wouldn't give up my dog. For months it's been like this. She moved in with one of her best friends, I think, but she doesn't want to talk to my mum at all. For a long time, my mum was even more sad, and that actually made me start to feel guilty again because it seemed like this was all my fault. Things weren't good for a while. My mum was talking to me less and felt like we were strangers living together instead of family. But she said it wasn't my fault what happened, so it's not that she was mad at me for my sister leaving. She was just sad about everything, and that made her not talk or be around me. Finally, after months, Mum and me are talking better again, and she's actually spending a little more time with me. It's still not the same anymore though. My sister still hasn't called us, and I don't know when she's due, but it should be really soon. Everything didn't happen the way I hoped it would, but I'm happy that I still have my dog around. He helped me deal with everything. Thank you everyone for showing me I made the right decision by keeping him. You guys made it easier to give them all this info about how wrong my sister was about dogs affecting pregnancy, and showed me I wasn't doing anything bad for wanting to keep the last connection I have to my dad. He's still here by my side, and I'm grateful for all the support. Now in the comments, Cast Iron Kettle says, I'm so sorry you were going through all this. I lost my dad super suddenly, and it was the most difficult year of my life. My dog got me through too, so I'm really glad that your mum stood up for you. Word of advice? Tell your mum how much you appreciate her standing up for you and not letting your sister take away your dog. Tell her that you miss her and would like to plan some sort of weekly thing together. Make it an actual plan and time, like movie Mondays, rather than a general request to spend time together. Having defined times will help your mum and also take pressure off of her. And I think it would be really good for you to be able to connect with her. I know how lonely this time can be. Also, don't be afraid to take the lead in planning. Make it clear that you'd love to hear what things and times she'd like to do, but that she won't have to handle arrangements. Don't forget, your mum still has energy and love for you, and she proved with her actions here. Really, it largely sounds like she's caught in the fog of loss, and small things like routine can make a huge difference for that. Also, I understand why you might feel guilty, but you aren't selfish for not giving in to someone's unreasonable demands. Your sister chose to see this as your mum not caring about her needs. She built up getting rid of your dog into a necessity, and she wouldn't step back and assess the actual situation. Her actions forced this situation, not you. Perhaps you feel guilty because you care about your mum, but trust me, it would be better to put that energy into connecting. By Huntress says, I'm happy it worked out okay-ish, but I hope you know there is a very good high chance that your sister will come crawling back after the baby is born. With the way her attitude was, she's likely trying to hold out on the guilt trip, but she's 20, and is her man even in the picture? Newborns are hard. She's going to reach out to your mum when realization hits her in the face. She'll probably throw some guilt tripping and maybe use the baby as leverage. But hold strong because she's going to realize she needs family and support. Oh, I agree. She's going to fold like a cheap suit. I only have one child with the father in the picture, and that crap was hard. I remember being so tired I could see sounds. Like, literally, my eyesight was swimming and was like looking through a pool of water, and every time something made a noise, it was like someone threw a stone in the pool. And Duty Valuable says, I'm so happy you didn't give up the dog. As someone who's had 2 kids so far, and dogs, they're not a danger to pregnant women or babies if handled correctly. She just wanted an excuse to get rid of the dog, and she's throwing a tantrum because she didn't get her way. I believe that you will be hearing from your sister shortly for 3 reasons. Babies are a lot of work, being a new parent is exhausting, and babies are loud. She's staying with her friend, and unless her friend is on board to have a newborn screaming around the clock and not being able to sleep, your sister will be doing this on her own without any backup, and that is very hard. She will need your mother soon. A word of advice if your sister and nephew/niece do move back in, look online about ways to help your dog adjust to the new baby. Your dog will need to be kept away from the newborn until he or she knows it's not a toy, and you should be exposing your dog to the newborn scent. Just a heads up that your sister might use the baby as an excuse to try to get rid of the dog again, or say that the dog is a threat to the baby, or say that if you don't get rid of the dog, she and the baby will be homeless. Okay, and our next post is by user ThrowRA Manga La Sutra, titled, Am I the a-hole if I don't want to share my wedding necklace? Some details have been changed for privacy. Hi all, long-time lurker, first-time poster here. Some background first. I, 37 female, have been married to my husband H, 36 male, for nearly 2 years now. We live in Canada, he is Canadian, and I moved here 3 years ago. Prior to that, I was born and brought up in India. Neither of us is very religious or traditional, and I'm openly deist. Both our families are somewhat religious, but not very devout. They had a few reservations about us, but so far, it's all been great. For our wedding, we had small wedding ceremonies in both cultures and a party afterwards, and my husband's family quite enjoyed participating in all the pre-wedding functions for the Indian part. On to the problem. As part of the Indian wedding, my husband had to place a Mangal Sutra around my neck. A Mangal Sutra is a gold necklace with black beads, and in our culture, it's equivalent to a wedding ring but only for the women. I don't like them because they're sexist and because they're chunky, ugly, and don't go with anything. I told my mother not to get me this and not to include it in the ceremony because it's an expensive waste. I won't wear it, and it's like a white elephant. I can't give it away or sell it. I have to keep it. My mother, being the smart cookie that she is, worked with my cousin to have one with a modern design, custom made for me. It's stylish, minimalist, and goes with almost everything, and I love it. I still don't wear it all the time, but quite frequently. As a contrast, I wear my wedding ring all the time, because my husband wears one too, and because I like wearing rings. The problem I'm having is with H's sister, E. E and I get along quite well, and I'm quite keen on fostering a good relationship with my in-laws because all my family is back in India. E loved the design of my Mangal Sutra and wants to borrow it. Now, I'm not religious at all, but no one can shed the influence of their culture completely, and it's the same for me. For me, the Mangal Sutra is a symbol of my matrimony, and not something that can just be lent out, especially not to my husband's sister. I've offered to have something similar made for her, but she says she doesn't want us to go through the trouble or the expense of something she only wants to wear once or twice. Why I think I'm the a-hole is that I can see her point. I'm a logical person, and logically, I have no reason to refuse, and I can't just pick and choose the things I want to be logical about. But emotionally, for me, the necklace is like underwear. You may or may not wear it, but you don't share it. FTR, I'd have the same feelings about it if it were of the traditional design, and I didn't like it as much as I do. I've tried to explain this to her. It's not something we have fought about, and she always accepts a refusal graciously, but she doesn't stop asking. It's like she thinks after a reasonable time passes, it'll be okay for her to borrow it. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? I think it is an odd request, since I think of it being like asking to wear someone else's wedding ring out to a function once or twice. That's not something people normally do, and it's honestly fine to not be okay with that and deny her request. It's just a piece of jewelry to match this sister-in-law's outfit. Surely she can just go order something else or borrow someone else's stuff that isn't tied to their marriage in any way. She seems to be making this a bigger deal than it needs to be. You're well within your rights to keep that boundary maintained with her and repeat that you're not comfortable with her wearing it. I don't think that makes you an a-hole for doing so. Is it really a dick move to deny a friend wearing your jewelry, even if it's not a wedding ring or a Mangal Sutra? Like, if you're uncomfortable with that? Because that seems to be pushing the boundaries of like, hey man, I gotta be forced to do something or else I'm an a-hole. Social pressures are weird sometimes. I'm gonna go with not the a-hole. Now in the comments, SnowAdvice2768 says, fellow Indian here. Just ask your husband to get something made for her. Tell her next time she asks that her wearing it would mean that she has married her brother. It may sound harsh, but sometimes it's what you gotta do. And since you have politely declined, it doesn't make sense for her to keep asking. That's rude. And since this is so personal and cultural for us, even though I'm similar in beliefs regarding the Mangal Sutra, I would still be very, very offended on some level that my sister-in-law wants it and doesn't give up. Just ask your husband to get her a chain that's similar for Christmas. And OP replies, good point, I'll think about it. Also, loaning it could mean you won't get it back when it becomes a symbol of her matrimony. That situation happened on here with a woman who loaned her sister a dress that became the dress that she got married in, and she never got it back. She should have her own if this necklace means so much to you. And OP replies, well, she doesn't want to borrow it for her wedding. And yes, getting her one for her own is the plan now. Ah, the way it was worded, I took it as borrowing for the same capacity that it served you. Oh, hell no. She don't need to borrow it to simply wear it? And OP replies, sorry about that. I'll try to choose my words better in the future. Wow, I thought she was asking to wear it for the wedding too. That she wants to borrow something so significant for random events makes it worse. I'm an atheist with no ties to a particular culture, but that doesn't mean I feel entitled to disrespect the cultures of others, which is what she's doing. If she likes the necklace so much, she can have one made herself. That seems to me the logical solution. Not the a-hole, it's yours and it means something special to you and your culture, so why should you need to lend it to someone who's going to wear it once or twice? Especially since your mother had it made especially made for you. You wouldn't give out something so personal like your wedding ring or dress for someone to wear, so it's unfair that she keeps asking you to borrow it. It may be inappropriate for her to even wear considering she isn't Indian. I'm not sure. And OP replies, exactly. She wouldn't ask to borrow my wedding ring or wedding dress, but I think she feels that because I openly refuse to follow my religion, I don't or shouldn't attach any significance to the Mangal Sutra. I don't know. I never asked in detail. Many people in Canada are not Christian, and yet will defend to the death their Christmas holiday traditions. Considering the current season, this might be a way to make her understand that, while tied, religion and culture are not at all one and the same, and that you can reject one while maintaining the other. And OP replies, that's a good point. I'll try that. And Jinyuki91 says, not the a-hole. Emotional attachment, especially one that is also attached to tradition, is hard to pass over to logic/reason. It's alright to turn her down because it's rooted to what you feel. You might end up regretting it. I had an experience wherein my feng shui bracelet was repeatedly jokingly touched, even though I said it shouldn't be touched by others. I'm not a devout believer by any means, but at the same time I felt like they stained my bracelet, and I had to control not to vent at them because they didn't understand. Just retelling it makes me feel bad about it still. And OP replies, thank you for saying this. I was feeling very conflicted, and I'm sorry you had to go through that. It's logical for us as human beings with complex emotional needs to say no to things that make us uncomfortable. No other reason needed. Please don't ever try to logic yourself out of setting boundaries with pushy people. And OP replies, thanks for putting that so eloquently. I couldn't find the correct words to express my thoughts. It's nice to have my thinking both verbalized as well as endorsed. And now on to the update. So, my first post here a few days back received a huge response, and I'm deeply thankful to everyone who responded. I had to wait a few days to post an update, as per the rules, so here goes. A few hours after the post went up, I got a call from my other sister-in-law, C. She came across my post and guessed it was me because I gave away too many details, I guess, and just called me to ask straight out. And several details I didn't know came to light. 1. During the wedding planning stages, I had complained to E and C about not liking Mangal Sutras and not wanting one for myself, and that I didn't know how to explain that to my mum. They didn't understand that even though I didn't like them as a concept, if I had one, it would still be culturally important to me. 2. I was laughing when I made the wedding ring analogy. They thought I was joking. 3. All three of us have borrowed and lent items to one another before, so really, asking for something a second, third, or however many times had never been an issue. That, combined with what they knew about my personal beliefs, genuinely made them think that I would be okay with lending it out after an appropriate amount of time had passed, which is why E kept asking. C realized the problem after reading both the post and mine and everyone's comments. Another commenter mentioned to me privately in DMs that E actually probably really wanted one for her own, but was too polite to accept when I offered to have one made for her. This turned out to be true. C told me E really loved the design of the necklace, but was too shy to say yes when I offered to get her one. So we made a plan. It's too late to get her one for Christmas, but she has a landmark birthday coming up. We've reached out to the person who made mine and are getting one custom made for her. We'll change the design a bit to make it look like not a Mangalsutra and incorporate some elements that she likes and gift it to her for her birthday. Thank you so much to everyone who commented for your advice, kind words, and support. I'm happy to report a very happy ending. Now in the comments, Beautiful Mistake says, I love the fact that she was too shy to say yes when you offered to make one for her, but wasn't too shy to keep on asking you about yours, lol. I'm glad you guys worked it out. Happy holidays and Happy New Year. And OP replies, well, asking is a normal thing for us. We do that a lot. That aside, she's a sweetie, and as a fellow shy, awkward person, I've been guilty of similar behavior, so I can't really hold it against her. I'm glad C found your post, to be honest, as you were quite polite about your question, and now they understand what it truly means to you. It sounds like it'll be a lovely birthday present. Glad to read that things were resolved because, in spite of all the drama that makes this sub a guilty pleasure, I love it when things work out well for the OP. Best wishes to you, your husband, C, as I assume she's seen this post as well, and E, who hopefully hasn't. And OP replies, she hasn't. She's not on Reddit, and she's rather sweet and sensitive. Finding out about this, especially the previous post where everyone kept saying she was the a-hole, would have really hurt her. So I'm glad it didn't come to that. And Fennelly says, not gonna lie, as a jewelry enthusiast, I really want to see what this necklace looks like. And OP replies, I'm away from it right now and sharing a pic isn't possible at the moment. Basically, the chain is super thin and there are 2 beads spaced out on each side. The beads are a lot smaller than standard. The pendant is a slim horizontal bar set with alternating black stones and diamonds. And White Gull Skull says, somehow I feel this whole thing is OP's fault. You've downplayed the importance of the Mangalsutra to your in-laws, so I can pretty much understand why your sister-in-law would think it was okay to ask for it. I think it's about time you improve your communication skills. And OP replies, can't argue with that. Obviously, hubby ended up getting looped into C and Maya's conversation, and after reading the post, laughed his ass off, saying for someone who claimed to have a good relationship with E, I was super wary of just having a blunt conversation with her. Alright guys, I think that's where I'm going to end today's video. If you need a good laugh, please do check out my second channel, Markee 2, links down in the description below, or it's going to appear somewhere on the screen here at the end, little bubble with my face on it. As always, a big shout out to my Patreon and channel members. Your faces are surrounding me right now, and I love to have you guys with me, and down in the comment sections of each and every video, and just knowing that you're always there to support me. It's a humbling and lovely feeling. And rest assured, I do see you, and I do notice your support, and I thank you every day for being here and helping me along this journey. Not much else to say besides that, guys. Thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. I do hope that you have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to. I will see you in the next video, and thank you again. Bye.